Transport Minister Fikile Mbalula is releasing preliminary festive season road stats today. The numbers will include the recent spate of crashes in Limpopo. The minister wants to reduce road deaths by 20%. That's double last year's target of 10%. Let's chat now to eNCA's Fikile Mbalula. He's just outside Pretoria, where we can already see police in action. Kaya, it is the latest on the festive season figures. I mean, some might think it is early days, but what are we expecting to hear from the minister today?
Well, certainly, Yuvaka. We're expecting the minister really to give the country a sense of how it's doing in terms of making sure that we reduce the fatalities on our roads. But, you know, where we are, I mean, it's a vantage point. It's not really far from the capital. You know, you can see there's really strong police visibility. It's a joint operation. I'm seeing the traffic police from Gauteng also alongside the National Traffic Police as well. So it is indeed a very important operation of making sure that as South Africans will be enjoying the festive season, albeit in light of COVID-19, we also try and do a very good job in terms of reducing the fatalities. But to try and get a sense of how the country is doing, we're joined here by the RTMC CEO, Mr. Msibi. So, sir, thank you so much indeed for joining us. The first question would be, are we winning on this war?
Well, thank you for having us. Indeed, in relation to the road safety, we are beginning to win the war. However, there are still some stubborn elements within this environment. You'll recall that road safety is everybody's responsibility. It is the attitude of the road users. So some of the road users are still, of course, rearing their ugly heads in relation to compliance.
And also, whenever you talk about some of the cardinal pillars, you know, the police visibility and also many other elements as well, are you seeing anything happening at all in terms of, for example, when you look at provinces like the Eastern Cape, Gauteng and KZN and Limpopo, contributing about 65% of crashes in 2019. Are those provinces at all seeing any progress?
Well, naturally, the intensive communication, marketing and awareness is beginning to bear results. You will realize when the minister announces the statistics, you will then understand that provinces which have been a headache for us, like Gauteng and KZN, are doing pretty well. So it begins to say that that campaign is beginning to yield some results. And indeed, we are arising from KZN this weekend. It was a massive marketing that we had, as well as the awareness. We visited all places of interest. The same thing we did with Gauteng, and indeed the numbers are beginning to say to us, you guys, if you can keep on doing this work, we'll win the battle.
And of course, so without really just disclosing much, but how are we looking in terms of the preliminary results? Obviously, in fact, of the statistics, is it showing that, you know, there's a downward trend? Because, you know, when you look at the height of lockdown, the numbers were pretty low. So how do we try to leverage from those numbers?
Well, naturally, from the lockdown, we have seen a very high increase in terms of the traffic flow. But in terms of the real figures, can I not answer that one? For now, the minister will do so to the entire country.
And also, it's a challenge for you because obviously we're facing the pandemic. You know, we must observe the protocols, but also sticking to the key traffic laws.
Oh, well, we are now applying multi-pronged strategies. Remember, we have to ensure that there's compliance in terms of the COVID-19 regulations, particularly in the public transport, as well as other motorists. The curfew being in place, which also assist us to ensure that there is not much of the night traveling, which is what we advocate, that it is indeed important that people should travel during the day. It's more safer. But also, in terms of the compliance, in terms of the National Traffic Law Act, we are then also looking into that space to deal with also with the Transport Act. In that space, we're also seeing some reduction and some compliance, but we are very happy because there are stakeholders that have joined the battle. You will have Santago having joined the battle. You will have other NGOs that have joined the battle. So the more we are many and united, we're definitely going to win this battle.
And just before we let you go, sir, just briefly, any tips to road users, to motorists? This is one of the busiest highways in the country. Any tips for them?
Well, you will then realize that this northbound is one of the major routes, the N3, the N1 South. What we are urging our road users, can they be patient? Let's travel during the day. Let's observe the distance between the vehicles, and every after 2 hours, can we just stop, reflect and pause, because fatigue also sets in and causes major accidents. Let's not speed. But what is also important, prior to undertaking the trip, let's look into the roadworthiness of the vehicle, as well as the worthiness, physical fitness of the driver. But at the very same time, we're urging our road users to observe the COVID-19 rules, sanitize, wear masks, open the windows, in particularly in the public transport, so that there is circulation of the wind. This is a two-pronged pandemic that we are facing. So let's assist one another and protect the country.
All right, sir, thank you so much indeed for your time. So that's the CEO of RTMC, Mr. Msibi, really elaborating about the plans that they are working out in trying to reduce the crashes in South Africa. We know that it's a very unprecedented time. You're also facing the pandemic, so it's a multi-pronged strategy that they are using here. But of course, we'll hear from the Minister of Transport during the course of the morning.
Okay, we'll wait for that. Thanks very much, Khailisha Kumalo. We'll also wait to see if the curfew that's imposed also and the restrictions make a difference to the numbers that we usually see every year.